Hello and welcome to Seeing Ink Spots, my Facebook page where I like to share things about stamping. I will just let you know that today's class, is Upstyle Your Paper Pumpkin. And today I'm going to be featuring the Welcome In kit from June. Okay. I have one person watching, which is awesome. I know more will be coming, but that is my cue to officially begin. And so, hello, Kat. I will say good Thursday morning and welcome to Seeing Ink Spots, where today we are having our Upstyle Your Paper Pumpkin class, and I'm featuring the Welcome In kit from June. So, yes, Kat, thank you. Good Thursday morning. So, lots and lots and lots of business news for today. Stampin' Up! News and Seeing Ink Spots news. So, I'll give you a little bit of that. So, first off, today is July 6th, and the online exclusives have premiered this morning. There's 3 new bundles. There's a standalone stamp set, there's DSP ribbon, so there's good stuff out there to be watching. Hello for anybody else that's watching today. We do have, like I said, the online exclusive started today. Also starting today with Stampin' Up! Is we have the bonus coupon days are back. So from now until the end of July, with a $50 purchase, you're gonna get a $5 coupon. It'll come to you in the mail. You'll need to keep that code so you can redeem it in August. So that's awesome. And that's a $50 purchase, get you that $5 coupon. So I'll also say, if you do the $50 coupon and use my host code, which is listed in the description of today's class, you're gonna get July's Technique Time class from me for free. It's also going to get you in to be a Backstage Pass holder. And that's where, for the rest of the month, I have all of my other stamp classes. They are in a private group. It's called Seeing Ink Spots Backstage Pass. And you too can be a holder just by signing up for that class. You can sign up for that class with a purchase, or you can sign up for it with a kit. So either one, lots of business. Okay, the other thing, on the online ordering, if you're online, you can see the clearance rack. And in the clearance rack, it's been updated today, and there's lots and lots and lots of cool stuff. So, and it's at some great discounted prices. And also the Paper Pumpkin subscribers, which many of us are, there's a lot of stuff, past kits, refills, and add-ons that are up to 50% off. So good deals. Okay, so I'm gonna flip the camera. That was enough jibber jabber. And we are going to begin with a little bit of Seeing Ink Spots business, so you can see what classes are coming up that you're not gonna wanna miss. And then we're gonna do what we're here for, and that is to stamp. So here comes the hand. That ever so gracious moment of flipping the camera, right? Okay, just tighten this up. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit of maneuvering here. Okay, all right. So let's see if I can get this just a little bit more centered. All right, so you know we're here today to upstyle this kit. Next week in the Backstage Pass, I am using up some supplies. You're gonna jump to your stash and use what you have and stamp along with me using the Just My Type stamp set or something similar. There have been a bunch of similars out there. Hello, Grace. Great to have you here. So use it up. It's in the Backstage Pass. So it's gonna be a blast. I'm excited for this class a lot. And then the week after that, our pick up class for July is the So Refreshing bundle. And let's see here. I do have the dies. So the dies and the stamp set, this is going to be fun. Some people like to refer to this fun little tablecloth as the flying carpet. So we're going to have some fun with that stamp set as well. That will be in the Backstage Pass Thursday at 10 a.m., just like Use It Up, Thursday at 10 a.m. And then the last week of July is Technique Time, and we will be doing a deep dive on the Cheerful Daisies, using the Cheerful Daisies bundle. So we are going to be making some Artfully Avid style cards that there's always very detailed focal points. We carry those focal points into the inside of the card. Everything's finished beautifully, both inside and out. There's always some sort of a fun fold and great uses of designer series paper. So I highly recommend my Technique Time class. Hi, Barbara. Awesome to have you watching today. My Technique Time class, it is virtual. It is available. You can purchase a class kit for $31 or you can earn it for free using my host code. It will get you into the Backstage Pass, either the purchase or purchasing the kit or making a purchase on the host code will get you into the Backstage Pass. You can also, if you're not in the United States and you don't want an actual class kit, I have an online version. That online version is a PDF of all the cutting measurements, and then you have access to that Backstage Pass where you'll find past and future classes, and you'll be a member of that. So I highly recommend signing up for my Technique Time for July, okay? And I want to let you know that if you do have a purchase of $50, that'll get you this class for free. If you have a purchase for $75 on my current host code, it's going to get you 2 classes for free. You're going to get July's Technique Time and August's Use It Up class. What is August in Use It Up? It's going to be, bird's eye view. So looking forward to this fun little class here. So that will be August. And of course, we'll have an Upstyle class in there as well. So that is what's coming up. Let me know in a comment, or you can IM me if you have questions, and we'll help one another out and try and get you. Let me see. This needs to go back. I'm trying to get it so it's not keystoning. Okay. All right. Anyhow, let me know if you have questions and I will totally help you out and give you more information, because I would love for you to join along and stamp with us. Okay. So this is all about the Welcome In kit. Here's our color combo for our first card. Hello, Terry Devant. Glad you were here today. All right. Our first color combo, we are going to use Night of Navy. And you could use the little spot that's in the kit, okay? But I'm going to open up my regular pad, and I'm also mixing in a little bit of Calypso Coral. So those are our colors for this first project. And let's see what we are going to need. For this first project, we're going to use most everything from the kit, okay? So you're going to want one of the navy solid blue card bases, the balmy blue banner, and then this countryside corner die cut. You're also going to want a scrap, and it doesn't even need to be this big, it could be much smaller, a scrap of old olive, along with the countryside dies, countryside corner dies. Love these. And so let's see here. This is the third largest die. Let me just kind of pull these out. They're kind of tangled up. So if here's the first, the second, we're going to use this third one, okay? So that third die is what we're looking for. I love how this kit coordinates with the Countryside Corners Sweet Collection. Fun stuff. And so this die, what we're going to do is just come in here and look how perfectly it fits right in that spot. So I'm going to take a little bit of my brand new roll of Post-it note tape here. And this Post-it tape, is that the end? I should have started, oh, there it is. It is. I like to use this Post-it note tape. I'll show you the cover here in just a second. But this is Post-it labeling cover-up tape. And I love this for just holding my dies in place. Sometimes I'm like not as like worried about them, and I'm fine if it has a little bit of, you know, if it's cutting out an open image, and a little bit of wiggle room is fine. But because these lines are so close, I just wanted to be sure that we are actually in the right spot here. Okay, so I have that kind of taped there, and this is Post-it tape, so it's very temporary. And I'm gonna run this through my Stampin' Cut and Boss machine, which is right here beside me. A little out of camera view, but you'll get the idea. I've done most of my die cutting for today, but there's a few I haven't done. I love the snap, crackle, and pop sounds that you hear when you're die cutting things. So I'm just gonna release this center piece right here, and we'll take our die off, and I'm just gonna leave that tape there because I know I'm gonna be using it again. Maybe not in this class, but you know, other projects. Perfect. So this is what I wanted, was the frame. Now what I'm going to do is come in here, and I am going to fussy cut these little flowers out, okay? But I am going to, and you don't have to, but I did. I'm just coming across this. I'm gonna cut these green buds off. Okay, save that. You never know when we might use it. I'll tell you what we're gonna use it for. Whenever you're stamping, like when you want to do a little extra something and you want your whites to match perfectly, that's why I keep some of these pieces, and you're gonna see that in just a second. Okay, so I'm just coming in and around here. Some people are fast at fussy cutting. Not me. I'm gonna come right in there, and yes, I cut that off just because I'm lazy and I don't want to have to go around all that. How many of you do stuff like that? Like if this were a snowman and it had stick arms sticking out, I would cut them off because they're not totally necessary. It just makes it easier. Okay, Connie, hello. How's it going? Julie showed me the latest card swap. It was beautiful. Okay, just coming around here. Okay, so that is most of what technically is happening on this card. Is we're going to have that. Now, let's see. Also from the kit, you're going to want one of the white vases. We're going to need a white vase. And the other thing that I'm using for this card that's not here right now, not out here, are the welcome in dies. And you know what I've decided is when I kind of put my countryside corners and things away, I'm going to put these dies and my paper pumpkin stamp set in with my countryside, you know, sweet collection elements, rather than putting it with all of my my paper pumpkin things, because I just think it enhances the sweet collection and makes it fancy. Okay, I am going to cut out 4 of the green leaves here. So, and to do that a little bit faster, let me show you kind of my my little trick here. I'm just going to fold my cardstock in half. It doesn't have to be perfect or anything like that. Fold your cardstock in half and run this through so you can cut 2 at a time. Just kind of a time saver there. Cut 2 and then cut 2 again. These dies were on sale this morning, but now they have sold out. Well, they have, that's fabulous that they have sold out, but it doesn't surprise me at all that they have sold out. They are fabulous. I'm surprised that they lasted this long. Now, I have mine already pre-cut, so you don't have to sit here and watch me die cut a whole bunch of leaves. Okay, thanks, Kayleen. I had a feeling they would go fast. So there are my 4 leaves. Righto. Okay, now let's do some stamping. I am going to bring in, and this is just a piece, it doesn't matter what color this is. It's just a piece of scratch paper here. And I am bringing that in so that when I stamp this, I'm not looking, because this white on white makes it tricky to try and stamp the image of the vase from the stamp set. It just allows me to see things a little bit better. So that's my other tip. You've seen me do it before. If you haven't, there it is. I often will slip a different piece of paper in there. And so this was just scratch. I scored it wrong on a project and it's just been sitting around. Okay. Oops, I'm inking this up in the wrong color. It's not supposed to be navy. Oh shoot, Queen. Okay, for right now, we're just gonna stamp this because why waste good ink, right? So just stamp that in place. Okay, pretty good. And I'm just gonna come in here and kind of lift that off, trying to keep myself from getting too inky. And the vase is used to objects, but this one's gonna be Calypso Coral. But never fear, we will use that. We'll put it to good use. There's that. We're gonna do this time in Calypso Coral. Okay. Okay, so I'm just kind of twisting and patting and trying to get a really good coverage on my stamp here. Now I'm going to kind of, this time you can see it a little better. I'm actually going to go down on the front of the vase and then kind of tip on the other end. And that way I know that I'm pretty lined up on this vase die cut, right like that. And so we'll lift this one off the same way. I'm just trying to not get so much ink on my fingers, especially at the beginning of a class. And I'm going to give my stamp image a clean there. Okay, there's that. So now we have our flowers, our vase, and our foliage. Now let's do just a little bit of stamping. I am going to use the navy this time. And I'm going to use this cool background image. I agree, Kayleen, this vase is really, it's really pretty. And in the white and blue, I think it kind of has that very definite, I don't know what, some of those vases, you know, the blue, the Dutch. What is that called, Kayleen? You probably know. Okay, so for this background image, I'm just doing a little bit on this bottom right corner. Okay, just adding just a little bit of texture there. I'm going to fold my card in half and let's give it a good score, a good burnish. And I'm going to do the same thing up here. Just adding a little bit of texture to my card base. Okay, I can pull this out of the way. Forgot a good piece of scratch paper today. Hello, that was kind of silly. Now with this piece here, I'm going to flip it over, and in the Paper Pumpkin kit, they've given us all these great dimensionals, some shorter than others, that are perfect for these cards. Right? They're designed for the larger die cut, but I'm going to go ahead. Whoops, let's get it on straight here. And then I'll split one of these in half because we do want to, we don't want any sagging spots. So I'm going to add the dimensionals here, these strips. Okay, it looks like I have a half C right here. We'll do another couple halvesies. I'll just have these ready for a future project. Like so. We'll put one right there. And then look at these longer ones. I mean, they were really thinking it out when they designed this kit. Making things just nice and simple to assemble. Daft Blue from the Netherlands. Okay, that's what I was looking. Delft Blue. And I even have glasses on. Draft. Delft Blue. That's the name of it. I knew you would know, Kayleen. I'll bet you even have some. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to lay this right on the center of our card. Delft Blue. They sold a lot of that in Curacao because Curacao has Dutch, has some Dutch and Portuguese. Colonization, is that what it is? I'm not sure. And Kayleen says, yes, she does have some. I have a teeny one on a key ring somewhere. Teeny little bit of it. Okay, I think I've gotten all the way around. Okay, now that you've removed all of those, just, eyeball center. Doesn't have to be like rip-roaring perfect, but just set that down. Okay. And now I'm going to just kind of place this. This is going to run across the bottom here. And then this will set here. And we'll build our bouquet off to the left side a little bit. And so I'm just kind of eyeballing where I'm going to stamp the word friend from the kit. It's going to go like right about here, okay? So I'm just trying to see where it's going. And my recommendation for these itty bitty teeny tiny stamps is to very, very lightly ink them up. And then when you go to stamp it, just touch. Do not overpress. Just gently touch it down and avoid really giving it a lot of pressure or rocking it. That way you won't blur out the image. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is add a few more of these dimensionals. Oh man, where do I have blue ink that I got it on my pot? Shoot, Queen. What else is new, right? I was being so careful. So I'm just putting a few of these dimensionals in the middle, and I'm not worrying about the ends because this will hold it up. I am going to see if I can remove that. That bums me out. I could always do another vase, right? Sometimes if you get ink early enough before it really sets, you can use a sand eraser to get some of that off. But I'm not having any luck. Okay. All right, well, we're going to roll with it for now. So this piece, we're going to put it on. Your vase is blotchy, says Grace. I've just washed the stamp. Any other tips? It's still blotchy. Okay, two tips. One of them is that you might want to give it a rub on your jeans. I know it sounds weird, but if you rub it on your jeans, it might take there might be like a little something on it, just kind of something that I don't know what they use, but there just might be a little something kind of on it, and it'll kind of just scrape it off. And so I literally will take this and just kind of rub it down my jeans. The other thing is to clean your stamp and use Versamark. And that Versamark seems to just make things a little bit better. So use some Versamark and then see if that helps to kind of, moisturize the stamp or what it actually does. So I am actually going to re-stamp a new vase after, just so I have a nice perfect one, but this will be fine for now. I'm going to save these dimensionals for when I have these cool frames and just bring in regular dimensionals here. And so I'm just going to do a couple here. We'll add our vase. Okay, get that ready. And now I kind of have to eyeball where my dimensionals are going to go here. I'm going to kind of hold my finger right here so I know where to put these. But I'm going to put my dimensionals on my card base rather than on the vase. Then it'll just make it be easier so that I'm not fighting this one right there and that things are nice and perfect. Okay, so here's my vase. Voila, just like that, cute. So Kayleen is saying, or rub it with the heel of your hand. Oh, I've not tried that one. That's probably awesome too. So there are my flowers. And now let's go for some leaves here. And I'm gonna use my glue here, just a little dab. Oh, come on. I just unclogged it at like 9:59. I'm going to do a leaf like back in here. And another one, I'll tuck another leaf down in there. Just a teeny bit of glue on the tip of the stem. And that way, if some of this sticks up a little bit, it's just kind of natural dimension, you know? It's like I didn't have to put a dimensional on it, it's just kind of sticking up. But I do need to get in there and make sure it's actually sticking to something. There's that. And then I'm going to do these two as well. I have two open ink pads over here to my side. That's not, I'm stamping dangerously. Okay, so I'm going to do one. I kind of want this one to sit up a little higher, and then I'm going to, with this last one, I'm going to kind of droop this one down and make it appear, you know, as if it's coming down the side of the pot and that it is coming from the pot, but we might end up actually tucking it behind the flowers, giving an illusion. Okay. And just reach that one right in there and just hopefully it snuggles up to the word friend. Okay. Just trying to get that in there, make sure it's touching something so it will stick. There's that. Now let me take a little bit of Wink of Stella, and I'm going to Wink of Stella my flowers here. Just pops them up, gives them some fun dimension. And I'll even do just a little splatter. Wink of Stella splatters on a dark color like this is so fabulous. And it doesn't take a whole lot, as you could see. Now, we're not quite done. We are going to put on some, excuse me, some of the little enamel dots here. And I'm going to add a little bit of linen thread. Okay, the refill kits for this are still available for $6.90. Wow, that's cool. I bought one for my mom the other day and it was 11 bucks. Should have waited. Had no idea they were going to put Paper Pumpkin stuff on sale though. Okay, so I'm just tying a bow here. Whoops, trying to make my ends even. And then I goofed it up. So I'm just going to kind of pull this a little tighter. Okay. And then I'll hold my two ends and trim. That way I know that they're even. Okay. Tuck the linen thread aside. It will come back to it for sure. And now I'm going to put a glue dot on the knot. And we're going to tuck this into the vase. Whoops, turned my light off. My glue dots, I have several sheets of these. Okay, so I'm just going to pick this up with, I love this new tool. I was all ready for this hobby blade, but this one has now become like my favorite. It's great at picking up gems. It's great at like taking off the cover sheet of the cover layer of like tear and tape, or what I just did there. I just picked up the glue dot. And so I'm just going to actually nestle this just inside. So it's kind of hiding the knot and my glue dot. Just tuck that in there. Fluff that bow. Cute. I love the dimension that twine, that linen thread adds. Okay, and now for my gems here. Call them gems, enamel dots. I don't know what the kit calls them. I didn't even read it. How do I already have ink on my knuckles? That's just crazy. Okay, we'll do another one right here. A couple buddies. And then we'll do one over here on this side. Like so. And there you have our first alternative for welcome in. So one and done. And then if you'd like, you can stamp something, on the inside. I'm going to keep it free so that it's pretty generic right now with just the word friend on it. Here's the one I was working off on the side there. Okay. So one and done. Let's see how many we're going to make today. I don't know. if we'll get through them all or if they'll do some, or here's what we're going to do. We're just going to play it by ear. Okay, I am going to close these so that I don't wreck anything. And our next project, let's see here. Our next project, what you're going to need, let's see what we're going to need, plus I'll add a few things as we're going. But to start, you are going to need one of these fancy, beautiful layers, designed. It's not a layer. It's a designed card base pattern. That's what I was looking for. Hello, Sarah. Awesome to have you. So with this one here, we're actually going to do this as a landscape card as well, like we did our first one. I'm going to use one of these and one of these. So we're going to have a similar layout here. Very similar, a little bit different, but it's just kind of a riff. So once you have a design, case yourself. And so that's what this design is. It's a case of my first card. And so let's start with a little bit of stamping. And so our stamping for this one, we are going to be stamping with the flower stamp, the teeny tiny little stem stamp, and I want the greeting about hospitality. Thank you for your hospitality. So let's start with the thank you for your hospitality, and I'm going to stamp that in Night of Navy. Again, you can use your spot. And I'm just going to kind of hold this across the bottom here. Hey, Jacqueline. And so that I know where that is. And this is going to stamp over here to the right. Just like so. Beautiful. Again, less is more on a very detailed greeting like this. I gently inked up and I did not give too much pressure when I stamped the image on the card there. Okay, so there's that stamping. We're going to also stamp one of the vases again, the Delft blue. This time we're going to stamp in boho blue. Okay, so boho blue. I should have showed you our color combo. Let's do it. Here's our color combo. It's going to be all blues. So we have Misty Moonlight, Balmy Blue, Boho Blue, and Night of Navy. Okay, so right now I want the boho, and that's what I'm going to stamp the vase with. I'm going to bring in my colored scratch paper again so that I can see where I'm stamping this. We need to clean this. Okay, and while I have the cleaner out, it looks like I need to clean my flowers and my stem. Okay, do yours look as bad as mine? Terry, you still don't have your kit yet? I would call Stampin' Up. Definitely give them a call. Or I don't know if you can see the tracking number. Okay, so I'm twisting and tapping to ink that image up. And then I'll do the same thing. I'm going to just kind of take that bottom end and kind of tap it over, kind of rock it down so that I line that image up, and we'll just flick it off. So there's our vase. Ooh, pretty, pretty. So like I said, we're kind of casing. We're going to change things up a little bit. So there's my vase. Now I'm going to stamp my stems and my flowers. And so if you remember, I said, save some of these pieces like this, because this is where you can stamp your flowers and have your whites matching. Although on mine, I actually used, what did I use? The wrong thing. That's what I used. I used other white paper, just plain basic white. And I'll show you the difference between Paper Pumpkin white and basic white. One's definitely warmer, and so, but that's okay. This is just a good tip, and you can use that. However, mine are actually out of this, because you don't want to see me die cut all these, but I am going to give you some tips. Okay, so this is Misty Moonlight, and I am inking up Misty Moonlight. We don't need boho anymore. we're going to use Misty Moonlight, and we're going to stamp one flower, and then we're going to huff on it and stamp it again. And we're going to do that again. So ink it up, stamp in Misty Moonlight, huff on it, and give yourself another one. Now I'm going to give this a quick clean, and we're going to stamp 2 in Balmy Blue. So here's Balmy Blue, and these are going to be full strength, okay? I just kind of wanted a series of blues, so it's kind of monochromatic in that it's blue, and then I wanted, you know, them to kind of be similar, but I wanted some variation in color. I'm going to get rid of Balmy Blue just to kind of move it out of the way. I'm also going to shut Boho. And we're going to use Misty Moonlight here to stamp some stems. And so I'm going to stamp the stem 4 times, and it's going to look a little bit weird, okay? So I'm going to move this over just a bit. But I'm going to do one, and I'm going to move. What I did is I just wiggled, my pot was here, and I wiggled it down just a little bit so that I could place my stem. So there's one. Okay, I'm going to do another one, and I'm going to move this down again just so that I can lower my stem a little. Okay, so then it would sit like that. And then we're going to put one way out over here. And then this one is going to be really funky, you guys, and you're going to go, what is she doing? It's okay, we're going to cover it up. But we've got one kind of coming down like that. So there are our stems. We'll give this a quick clean, put it away. Okay, we're done with our inking. So now let's talk about our die cutting of these images right here. So we're going to go back to the Welcome In dies. Again, if you've just popped on, I am going to be storing my Welcome In dies and the little paper pumpkin stamp set with my Countryside Corners Sweet Collection. I'm not going to put it with all my other paper pumpkin things. I just think it makes more sense for the items to be all together. Okay, so on this die, it's like, well, where does this go? First off, this die does not leave a white border on these flowers. It actually cuts inside, much like how the vase is smaller than the stamp image. I think that's kind of a cool approach. But on this die, there is one single petal here where my fingernail is that is very squared off. And you can see I had, or you might not be able to see, I did have a little Sharpie mark there. And that's just kind of my little quick way of finding and lining this up. So that very square petal right there is this square petal right here. And I'll put a little dot. So it's like there. And see, I never rotated the stamp. I stamped them the same so that I knew exactly where that squared cornered stamp was, or that petal was. And now when I come in with my die, I'm going to come in and not necessarily line up with that dot, but at least you know which petal it is. You cover up the whole thing and you cut it out, and you're going to get, let's see if I can find these in here. Just like that, okay? So it does cut the white edge off. And so I have all of these cut out already, but hopefully that makes sense to you how I've done that. I'm going to put these back in here just so I know where they are. Okay. So there's one of my flowers. Okay, let's see here. Dig out all the others. I have them all die cut for later on too. Okay, I should have 6 flowers, and you're going to want 3 leaves, and the leaves you're going to die cut just like we did the old olive ones at the beginning. I'm going to use that same little die, only this time I die cut these from a teeny tiny scrap of Misty Moonlight. So I just did 3 leaves from my Misty Moonlight scrap. We will use Misty Moonlight, a full sheet of Misty Moonlight later on today. But for this, you just need a little scrap. Hi, Lori. Awesome to have you joining along with us. Okay, so there are our elements that we're going to be using for our stamping and all that. And I have found, you know, in the spirit of using it up, using what's in your stash, I found an old, I don't even know how old this is. Look it's not even on the skinnier bolts or the skinnier tubes. So this is an old thing of Night of Navy twine. And I'm just going to do just like we did on the first card. And that is, I'm going to tie a bow. Okay. Just getting myself a quick bow here. Make this side just a little smaller. I'll grab my ends and give them a cut. So I have that ready. We'll put a glue dot on the knot. Okay. I love twine. I don't know why. More so than ribbon. Way more so than ribbon. How about you? What is your favorite embellishment? Okay, again, I'm putting just a glue dot on the knot there, and now that will be ready. And I'm not going to pull the cover off just yet. Hi, we have, is it Nafani or Natani? Or Nalani? And Danny, hi. I couldn't quite see that that name before. My eyes just can't tell the difference between the F, T, or L. But welcome. Beautiful to have you here. Okay, so here are all of our elements. Now, let's get it up on some dimension and finish it up. So, we are going to add dimension to everything because we can, right? So, to the back of this piece, we'll add some dimensionals here. Okay, I think I'm going to do 5 dimensionals on this. Just like that. And I'm going to hold off on the vase because I'm not quite sure where it's going to, you know, hit in relation to the banner here. Again, if you've just popped in, I'm casing my first card, and I should bring the first card in so you can see how it's a case of the first card. There's the first card. Okay. So almost the same layout, same idea. I had mentioned that, you know, if you've got something good going, why not case yourself, right? Okay, so I'm going to put the long dimensionals on this. I think I'm going to just kind of cut this in half. And I'll put half here and half right here. Okay. I didn't see your name, Jolinda. It got caught behind a comment, I think. It scrolls up a little too fast. But now I see your name. Awesome. Jolinda's in the house, folks. Okay, so I'm going to do this one just a little lower than I did on my original design. And so this is why I didn't put the dimensionals on my vase yet, because I didn't know exactly where this was going to hit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a dimensional there, because we know we need one there, and I'm going to do one right here. Okay? I might need to move this bottom one up a little bit. Let's see. Oh no, it's in just the right spot. So there's my vase. Ta-da. And I know the stems look a little weird and that they're not all the way in there, but they will be by the time we add the flowers and the leaves. That will all be covered up. Okay, I'm going to switch to, I don't have any mini dimensionals. Okay, so you guys, I am placing an order today for mini dimensionals. Don't let me forget the mini dimensionals, but I'm also picking up, because the online exclusives have just started, I am picking up the Trucking Along bundle. I just have a sneaking feeling that that cute little truck punch might go fast. So if you're interested in that Trucking Along, boy, I highly recommend picking it up sooner rather than later, because it might, I'm not saying it will, I just feel like it might sell out. And I really like it. I think we saw some great things during the Creativity Now presentations, and that people are sharing them, and it's just so much fun to see what they've been doing with it. How it can be a great little Christmas set, but at the same time, it's really an all occasion. So, trucking along. Here's the thing, if you bought Trucking Along, you're not too far from that $50 threshold to get your online, your coupon for next month. So kind of a nice little additional bonus there. Plus you're gonna get my class, my July class of Cheerful Daisies for free. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, now I'm gonna start filling my vase here. And so with my first flower here, this is, and it doesn't matter which flowers you're using, but this one is the Balmy Blue. Okay, here goes my first flower. I'm gonna set this kind of right here at the corner of the vase. See, I told you, look, already we fixed that spot. And I'm gonna do one leaf, same way we did the first set, and that is to just do a little dab of this here. Whoops, that was a big dab. Oy, was that a big dab? It's gonna mush everywhere. That's when I just take one of these handy tools from my garbage bin and scrape some of it off. Hi, Judy. Good to have you here. So there's one of my leaves. So it kind of looks like it's kind of spilling over the edge. And now, let's see here. Here is a Misty Moonlight flower. And this one is going to, and just make sure your flowers are not ever at the same. I was about to put it down and noticed that it would have been the same as my Balmy Blue. So just kind of vary them up. Here is a stamped off Misty Moonlight. And again, rotate it so that it's not at the same angle. And this one I'm going to pull down just a little bit, like so. Okay, and this one is stamped off Misty Moonlight. And this one's going to kind of hang down over like so. Maybe just a little less, just like that. And let's see, here's Balmy. And this one, again, just checking that they're at different orientations. There's that. Yes, we have a big gap in here. Don't worry. We're going to fill it. And I'm going to add, this is my last, and it's going to kind of come in here like so. And now we'll fill this in with some of those leaves, with these two leaves that we have left. I kind of got to get this, I got a little bit of goobery action going here on the end. So again, from the garbage pile, a scrap of paper cleans that off perfectly. So I'm going to add a leaf right in here. And then we'll add one more leaf kind of coming up. A little touch more glue. Coming up right through the, right up in here. A little bit of asymmetry going on. Okay. There's that. And then our glue dot. We'll pull that little backing off. And I'm going to add my bow over here to the corner, kind of opposite of the last one. But I'm going to kind of maneuver my ends here just a little bit to fix my bow. And then I'm going to bring my tool in and just kind of work that glue dot into the twine so you can't see it at all. I could see it, you probably couldn't, but, and I'm going to kind of give it a little bit of a twist. Kind of want it going at this other angle, kind of like so. Okay, so there's that. I feel like this end is a lot longer. Oh, how long does it take to get the twine just right, right? Okay, wiggle that over just a little bit. I feel like it's crooked. There we go. Okay, and now let's add some of the enamel dots. Almost done with this sheet. I'll have to start another one. I had 2 packs of this kit this time. 2 packs of the Welcome In, 2 kits. Okay, I'm gonna do one here. And then this is from my second kit. I'll do another one right in here. And just like that first card, since we're casing it, we'll bring in Wink of Stella and give the flowers some sparkle. Right? And then I'll just give a little quick flick. And there you have a case of my first card. Just kind of a fun, pretty little bouquet. So there was our first card. Here's this. I was working off of another one here. So there you have it. That's our second card for today. Don't forget, so the tip for that card is case yourself, right? Okay, moving right along. We've got another pretty easy card here. And I'll show it to you first. It's kind of a riff of, we've got the stamping in the corner. So we're going to do that, just like we did the first one. So we have some things similar and some things a little bit different. So I'm using one of the navy blue card bases. I really like how they're white inside. Just love it. I have a scrap of white, and then I have the large Countryside Corners piece, and then I have this one as well, the frame. So these are both from the kit. This I added in. And then we're going to need one of the white vases, and we'll stamp that vase in navy. But if you remember, I stamped the wrong color at the beginning. Instead of Calypso Coral, I stamped the navy. So, haha, look at that. It's already done. So you're going to stamp that vase in navy. Okay, I am going to add dimensionals to this, the dimensionals that they gave us. These are sized perfect for this, and that you're going to do one long one down the sides. Down each side, I should say. Okay, just like that. And then we'll grab the short ones, and now these shorter ones are going to go on the ends and the corners. Okay. Southern New Jersey during lunch. Awesome, Lynn. So cool. And where do you work? In Southern New Jersey. You know, I don't know that I've ever been to, I mean, I've been to New Jersey, but I don't think I've ever, I'm not exactly very up on my geography of New Jersey. Okay, so this card is actually really simple. It comes together pretty quick, and it is very much a use of the add-ons and the kit, and just kind of retooling some of the pieces that they gave us. So Kayleen, so I must have missed a comment that Kathleen had. Thanks for helping. So she says, I know it matches the DSP, not sure it matches the card. So if someone can remind me. So will that card base match the embossing folder? I'll pull the folder out in just a second here because we're going to use it, and then I'll pull that card base up and we'll find out for sure. Hello, Marcia. Great to have you joining along with us. I'm going to move this up onto the blue so it's easier to see the contrast between the white. And I'm just going to carefully lay this on just like that. Okay. There's that. Easy enough, right? We haven't done really a whole lot. We'll put our vase in here, and I'm going to put the vase on. I'm going to kind of curl it a little bit with my fingers. Commercial insurance, enjoying the break. Okay, well, thanks for letting us know. That's cool. So glad we could make your break kind of fun. Now you can go home later today and stamp with your Welcome In kit if you haven't already. Okay, so I've curved that vase just a little bit with my fingers and then put the dimensionals just in the middle. So it will still kind of continue to give us that little bit of curved edge. Okay, gives us a little bit of dimension there. Now, on my piece of scrap here, Or if you have a piece of scrap from the kit, you know, some of the leftover pieces from where we've punched everything out, we're going to stamp some flowers, and we're going to stamp in Calypso Coral. And I think I forgot to put Daffodil Delight on the list of ink pads, but we are going to grab some Daffodil Delight, and we're going to stamp the flower in Daffodil Delight, full strength, huff on it, and give it another stamp. That one's a little light. I might do just another one just to see if we can get a light. I think I still like the lighter one. And then I'm going to do the same thing in Calypso Coral. Just one. Okay. So we have Calypso Coral here. Once, twice, just giving myself some options. And then take your little welcome in dies, and I think I'm going to go over it one more time, how I did this to simplify things for myself since we've had several people pop on. So here's the die itself, this tiny little die, and I have put a little, I've put a Sharpie mark on the petal that has that very squared off edge. It's a single one and it's very squared off. And if you look at your stamped images, there's that squared off, and I try and keep it at the same angle, and then you just kind of take that in and die cut those out. That to me is the easiest way, is to match that with that single squared off petal. So that's what I did. That's my trick. That's how I've been kind of making it a little bit easier for myself. And of course I have these die cut ahead of time. Okay, just like that. And then these, hey, come here, the yellow one is running off. These are going to go onto our flowers here. And I'm going to add these with mini dimensionals. Let's see, I'm using some pretty, where'd that, I had a sheet of like skinny little pieces. There it is. You know, the funny little endings of things. So these are going to go on the backs of my flowers. Oops, wrong side. It is so quiet in here. Usually the dogs are clicking around, you know, you can hear their little claws. Here comes one. I said dogs and right on cue. One walked out from wherever. Hi, Brian. Okay, so those are my flowers, and now I'm just going to add these to this insides of my, just to add a little bit more dimension here. So I'm adding the color that coordinates with the flower. Or you can mix and match. It's all good. And again, being sure to make sure that those are rotated around so that they don't end up the same direction. Okay, see, I definitely need some new minis because those aren't even minis. Those are old, full size. Okay, so that's that, but let's finish this up with a few kit. I'm using the full size. Okay, so again, I'm just stamping the upper left. And I'll bring this one right into here. I did that a couple times this time. And now, you know what? I want to show you guys something. If you look at this stamp, I'm going to do, let's see here. I'm going to ink it all up. And if you look at the stamp, hopefully I'll turn it over. So there's the curved end and then it's kind of notched out. I'm going to do just a little bit like right here. Okay. So just the teeny tiny corner. Now I'm going to ink up the whole thing and show you that if you take that, this is the rounded, and now this is kind of the scooped out. Let me get my paper just right here. These kind of line up so that you can do a nice, you know, you can repeat this and kind of, it's like they fit together, they notch together, so you can make this a nice repetitive pattern. Okay, so in doing so, I got myself super mucky. So I've got to chamois my own fingers here. Great. Got a little messy. Hello, Robin. Hello, Olive. And Jan. Okay, so that's that. Let me just give this a quick close before we destroy things. All right, so I'm also going to use on this card one of these. I wish they gave us a whole bunch of these. I like this little friend right there. And this, we're going to glue this to our card front. And then we'll add that hello friend, some enamel dots, and linen thread, because we can, because it's my favorite. So I asked earlier, what's your favorite? You know, are you a ribbon fan? Are you a linen thread, twine? None? That's good too. So let me know, what do you guys like? Okay, there's that. Now, linen thread. So I'm just gonna leave the linen thread in the bag there, tie from the bolt. And I'm doing a fairly generous sized bow here. I know some people like smaller ones. I tend to like them a bit more in your face. Hi, Eunice. Okay, so there's my linen thread. And my bow is just gonna kind of come over here to the side. And I need to make this side just a little bit smaller. There we go. So I'm gonna put a little glue dot. We'll just take a glue dot here. Whoops. And I'm just gonna kind of put it right here at the curve of the vase, and we'll pick that off. Sometimes I put the glue dot on the knot, and sometimes I put it on the outside. Never fear, we're gonna cover that up, don't worry. So let me turn this just a little bit. And now I'm going to put some dimensionals. Actually, I think I'm gonna use, well, I'm gonna cut one of these in half because I don't need quite so much. Okay. Well, got one on the scissor and one on the thumb. Let's get rid of the one on the thumb. I'm going to put it in the middle because it's going to kind of overlap the vase and the side here. So you don't need it all the way across, just in the center. And so I'm going to come across that right over the knot, and that will cover our dimensional. And at the same time, it kind of blends these, it bridges our everything kind of comes together with that. All lands together. Clear the space. Okay, so almost done, but in Liz Price style here. Got to add the wink. And I'm going to do it kind of similar to where we've been doing it, is kind of on my flowers. Okay, and I'm even going to draw a little bit on these buds here, just to give them a little emphasis. Okay, and we'll give a splatter, and especially love it when the splatters hit the navy blue, because they really show. And some of our dots here. Some of the enamel dots. And I'm going to do one here. Oh, and you know what? It so totally livens this whole thing up when we add a little bit of that navy blue out over here to this white layer. That to me is the real finishing touch to this card. I'm going to move this one down just a skosh. There we go. There you have it, folks. There is another pretty simple alternative using the contents of the kit. We just basically added in the add-on dies and a scrap of white. So that was number 3. Let's go for number 4. Let's bust into the Calypso Coral card base. Let's use that one. So we're going to give this a fold. Okay. Just right there on the score line. And for this, let's see. This is going to be a pretty fancy card here. We're gonna have a few steps. We're gonna use one of those. And then I've added, as extra pieces to this, I'm adding a 1/4 sheet of Calypso Coral and a 1/4 sheet, and both of these are a little shy of a 1/4 sheet, and a 1/4 sheet of window sheet. Let me just backtrack on some of these. Kayleen says, I wish they would sell those blue dots. They are perfect height to mail cards. Yeah, these are a nice, they're slim dots. That's what we need to call them. And in various colors too. I think we have had some in the past. You know, the things kind of come and go and they change. Okay, so this card here, and I think I'm going to show you the finished. And it doesn't look like a whole lot, but boy, it's got a lot of maneuvering going on in it. Okay, so the other thing we're going to use for this card is a little bit of the Flirty Flamingo metallic ribbon. And this is in the clearance rack. It's a great price, and look how fabulous it looks with Calypso Coral and with this, patterned card base here. Okay, so this is kind of a fancy, oh my gosh, I just said a bad word. A fancy fold and cut. So when you put cold and I did it again. Anyways, I was inverting words and anyway, you get the idea. So we've got this cute little card here. A lot's going on. So let's see what we're going to do. Let's just kind of get some of the pieces we're going to need. So I've got one of the yellow labels here. We're going to use that. We're also going to go back to our green, your scrap of green, and cut yourself 3 leaves. So you're going to need some green leaves. I've got mine all done ahead of time. I know that's not fair, but you know what? We'd be here forever if I had to die cut everything while we're doing class. Okay, so, and we're also going to be using 2 of the dies from Countryside Corners here. Okay, we are using the largest and the second largest, okay? Just have to make sure exactly that is what we're doing, right? That is the right one. Yeah, it just seems weird. So we need those. Okay, so let's move things along here. I'm just gonna kind of stash those up there. And let's start with our card base here. So you're gonna open up your card base and you're going to add your die, the largest die. And again, I'm going to pull out my Post-it labeling cover-up tape. Grab a couple pieces of this. Because I don't want this to move. Because it is so symmetrical, it's so linear, it will show if you're slightly off. So I'm eyeballing things. Here I say slightly off and then I eyeball. Okay, that's okay. So we'll add these to here. We'll run this through our Stampin' Cut Emboss machine. What did you say? This is going to be a good card. It's cute. There's a little layering action happening in it. But what I wanted to share in this, boy, lots of pops and snaps. Kayleen, what I wanted to share in this is how cool these dies mat. How you can make some fun frames and map things. Okay, so we'll just kind of remove this. Okay, folks, if we have time, I'm going to do a bonus card with that. Okay, and so now we're going to take our Calypso Coral and with just a teeny tiny bit of glue, we're not going to glue this whole thing on. I'm going to do just a little bit of glue, very, very little, because I'm going to have to take this off. But just a little bit of glue, and we're going to add our Calypso Coral. And if you remember, I said this is ever so slightly smaller than a 1/4 sheet, just so it will fit in there. I think I have to trim a little off. Let me trim just a skosh off. Okay, so I'm just coming in here and I'm just taking just a hairline off. It was a little too, was hanging out. It was making so the card wouldn't shut. Okay, so now let's get this centered in here. You want it nice and tidy. Okay, and then we'll close our card. And yes, there's just a little bit of glue on it. There is not much holding it in place right now. Okay, things look good from there. And I'm just going to kind of burnish those a little bit just to hold them in place. Now let's take this die here. And again, you can use Post-it notes for this. You can use washi tape. I'm using this because I love it and I feel the need to buy from something other than Stampin' Up. Kidding! I wish Stampin' Up had a temporary tape like this. That would be a cool thing to have, right? Okay, so I'm putting this in here. Now we're going to run this one through, just like we did the first one. Okay, and now we'll pop this one off. Careful. As it goes through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, it pushes that on there a little bit more than what you want. Okay, so now I'm going to take my Flirty Flamingo, and I need about an 11-inch piece. So with my 11-inch piece of ribbon here, I am going to kind of lift this up, that little spot that we had glued. I'm going to lift that up. Okay, I mean, we're going to lift the whole thing in just a second to slip the window sheet in. It's got stuck more than I wanted. Okay, so this one is going to, let me see what I did. I actually went this way. So what I'm going to do is lift this up. Yep, tore my paper a little bit. That's okay. It's not going to show. That's why I was careful. I'm going to use the tear and tape that they gave us. And I'm going to do just a tiny piece of tear and tape right on the edge of that Calypso Coral. Okay, so that when this lays down, you won't see it at all. But that's what's going to hold my ribbon in place. And I'm going to do some on the back of the ribbon as well. So I'm just kind of lifting that off. And now my ribbon, I know you're going to see, what is she doing? But I'm going to do this about halfway. I'm going to put that right there in the ribbon. Okay, it is going that way. And yes, we have a little end there that is showing. We don't want that. And now this is going to pull through to this side. So I'm just going to flip it over on this side, right? And now I'm going to do a little bit of ribbon, a little bit of tear and tape right there that I can burnish this ribbon in. Plus, at the same time, it's going to cover up, the ribbon's going to cover up the tear and tape because we don't want to see that. Okay, so remember I said this is great for picking off these covers. Look at that. Look how easy. You got to get the plaque remover. Jen Mallett calls it the plaque remover. That's what we decided a couple weeks ago. Okay, so we're putting that right there like that. Okay, just like that. Now I'm going to lift up this side right here. Got a little tear and tape that it got stuck to. I didn't want it to stick, but it did. Okay, so I'm going to lift that side up. And I'm going to lift this side up as well. So yes, we're just totally undoing what we did. But it's so we can get, that's why we didn't glue it down all the way. This is so we know it matches. It's going to be a good frame. Yes, I got a little bit of tear here. We'll just get rid of that. It's never going to show. Now I'm going to put some tear and tape in here that came with the kit. Nice, right? Just do some tear and tape right up the side here. And some right here. And then we'll attach our window sheet and then we'll put things back together. And I'm going to do a little bit on these angles. I'm not going to do the bottom. That's just too narrow. That's crazy talk. I agree, Kayleen, these are great dies. The stamp set, I had mentioned we might be using it, but we're not going to use the stamp set that goes with the Countryside collection. I did a class on it. It's in the Backstage Pass. If you take one of my classes, you can see that past class of the Countryside Corners. They're such pretty cards. They're all pretty much in that blue family, color family, because we focused on the Countryside Corners, the Sweet Collection. But the stamp set itself is actually one background stamp. So you kind of tackle it a little bit different than you think. What are the dies called again? These are the Countryside Corners. Same as the stamp set itself. So yeah, right here, Countryside Corners dies. Are those the ones you were talking about, Kayleen? Okay, so I've peeled off all the covers. Now come in with your window sheet and just set that right on top. Okay, I got it a little bit weird on this one end. That's okay. And then this one will go back in place, but we're gonna need to put some sticky on it yet again. And you've got to use the tear and tape because you're working with acetate here. So I don't need to do as much as I did the first time. This will be plenty. Okay. So it's kind of like making a shaker card, but instead we're making just a beautiful, almost like a window card, and this is the glass. Okay. A window card you can see into a really pretty house. Okay, so now this is the hard part, lining this back up. But you know what? We got some fuzzies in there. We're good. And I think I'm going to try it from this other direction. So I have this halfway side to see what I'm doing. So tell it who's boss and just lay this back in place. Kind of tricky, but don't push things down too firm just yet, because see, I'm over a little too far, so I'm going to just pick up. Maybe. I wonder if there would be a simpler way to do this. Maybe I should have made some marks. Oops, that's definitely crooked. Okay, looking good. So now we have our frame on our card and things are coming along. That was the hardest part of this card. It's not a hard card other than just telling this stuff who's boss, and you are not. Don't let it defeat you. All right, now I'm going to kind of shut my card and put my finger right where the ribbon is. That way I know where I'm going to put my tear and tape. And my tear and tape piece, this is for the second piece of ribbon. Yes, we're going to cut a second piece of ribbon, and look, I have that in just the right spot. So yeah, just make sure you line that up. Pull this backing off. Just like so. And yeah, see this end that's sticking out? Just fold it back. And now we're going to take another 11-inch piece of Flirty Flamingo ribbon. Beautiful ribbon, folks. It's in the clearance rack. It looks great with this kit. And it also looks really good with the inked botanicals paper. We discovered that last week. So now I'm just going to kind of burnish this in to the tear and tape so that I know it's going to stay. And we're going to take our die cut here and add dimensionals. Okay, just get a bunch on there. Keep it from sagging anywhere. maybe here. Oh, more than I really need. Oh, look. A lot. Okay. So Kayleen, I answered the right one. Is that what that yes is for? I hope so. I don't want to leave you hanging. Okay, now this piece here, you're just going to add that. Just center that on your card. Back, like so. Then when you shut the card, you have, you know, that nice peek through. And we're going to stamp another vase. So this time we're going to stamp in Calypso Coral. Let me find my funny little, you know, my contrasting color here. Calypso Coral is for the vase. And I think it was blue last time, so we need to give it a quick clean. Okay, so tap, 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 twist, tap. Since it's such a solid image, that's why I do that twist tap. Okay, stamp that image, get a nice good impression. Sometimes I'm dead center and sometimes I'm a little off, but this one's a little off, but you know what? It still looks really good. You can't tell. So, awesome, awesome, awesome. Put that one aside, get some, you know what? It's not dimensionals. I'm gonna glue it down. And I'm gonna glue it down because if I put this on dimensionals and none of this has dimensionals or any lift on it, it's a little wonky. So yes, I'm gluing this vase down right about here, just centered. Just tuck those stems in. This one's kind of flying out, but that's okay. Totally okay. Now let's take our 3 leaves here. And our 3 leaves, we're going to kind of glue them just on the tips like we've been doing. I just don't think it needs all out like masses of amounts of glue. I'm going to kind of tuck this one back and in the vase. And then here's going to be another one right by it. Whoops. Oh, I'm glad it landed up. And this one's going to tuck into the vase and kind of hide that little gap that was right there on that little leaf, on the bud of the die, of the printed bud right there. And then I'm going to do one more leaf. And this leaf, I want it to kind of fall in here. But to kind of hide the mechanics of the stem, I guess I could cut it off. I'm just going to marry this stem right into this vertical stem right here. Okay, so this end is just going to kind of come right up to that flower, and it almost looks like it's intentional. And that's where I've placed that. And then it moved. And that's the inside. And then we're going to tie it shut. Oh, before we're going to tie it shut, we're going to add our greeting on here. And so we kind of have to just lift some of this up just a little bit. So just kind of get a little wedge in there. See? Tell it who's boss. Somehow, I'm going to get my linen thread through there. I don't know how I did it last time, but I did. I think I might have done it before I sealed it. What else is new? Okay. Okay, hopefully it won't stick and it'll go through. No way. So I'm just going to push it through with my hobby blade. Oh, look at that. Slick. All right, cool. Wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. Again, tell it who's boss. You're boss. So just give yourself a nice long piece here. I'd rather have more and cut it off than have to start an entirely new piece of thread. Okay, so for this though, yeah, Kayleen, I do like to find ways to make it tidy. I call that hiding my mechanics. So we're going to tie this in a bow, and then we'll stamp our tag and add that to our linen thread. Gotta get out of the way there. there's something about a card like this. I don't know that I would actually put this type of a card in a packet. I mean, in an envelope. I would maybe set it. I like to wrap in bags, and then I like to tuck the card right into the top of the bag. And I kind of like everything to match as well. So anyhow, kind of be like that. And how would I sign this card? You could maybe add a white placket to the back there, or just simply sign the back of the tag since it's going along with a gift maybe. Okay, so to stamp this tag, let me bring in my scratch. Okay, and we're going to use the welcome stamp. Okay, and we're going to stamp welcome with Calypso Coral. I bring the color in so you can see Calypso Coral welcome. And I'm going to do this right about dead center. There's that. Cute. I love the font on this, the handwritten font. And then the word friend, and we're going to stamp the word friend in olive. You dragged out your olive pad just for one, whoops, what did I dropped my chamois. One little word friend. Okay, again, this is a tiny little stamp. Do not overstamp, meaning do not push into the ink. You don't need to. Just gently tap it. I am not impressing it at all. I'm just gently tapping. And now, with a very little pressure, I'm going to stamp the word friend right at the end of the word welcome. Easy. Easy and tidy and legible. Sometimes when I get overzealous and I stamp too hard, I'm like, oh, gotta do it again, because it just doesn't look good when it's got that blurry image. Now, any size little hole punch you have on hand. I have this one from a very long time ago. I'm just going to punch a hole right in the center there. Little handheld punch. And then we'll run our linen thread right up and through. Get that in the hole. Okay. Now, here's my dilemma. Do I just knot this, or do I tie a bow? And here's my dilemma. I do not like a bow next to a bow. Maybe if they're incorporated, but me, I don't know what my problem is. It's just kind of me. Instead of tying another bow, just because I don't like a bow next to a bow, I'm trying to get a little bit more on this side. I'm just going to hold my two ends and tie it in a knot. And I'd rather have the tails and a knot than two competing bows. And then just kind of wiggle it to where you want it to be. Kind of design it how you like. Whoops, fling it away. And there you have it. I'm going to pull this just a little bit. There we go. Okay, there you have it. Just kind of something a little bit different, a little fun. I guess I could give these two ends a nice trim. I just hit my scissors against my light. That was that ding you just heard. Sorry about that. Okay, there it is. Kind of something a little bit different. A fun little window card, with the matting there. Kind of fun. These dies are super cool. I highly recommend them. I think it's time for a 3D item here. And for our 3D item, we are going to use some pieces here. We're going to use another one of these card bases, okay? And I'm also going to add in a piece of paper here. And this piece of basic white, let me give you the measurement on this. It's 1 inch wide by 5.5 inches long. And I've scored it in half on the short side. So in other words, this is just a tiny little placket. I'm just going to fold on that score line so you can see where that is. Again, it's 1 by 5.5, scored at 1/2 inch. So let's just give this a good score right there. I'm also going to be using my paper trimmer for this one. Okay, bring in your paper trimmer. And this is what we're going to do. So this pattern is definitely directional. So all the little foxes need to face upright. So we're going to be making a kind of bag box. It's kind of a cross between a bag and the bottom is a box. So in order to keep this the right way, I want you to put, here are all your foxes facing upward. I want you to rotate 90 degrees to the left. So we're counterclockwise turn to the left. We are going to put the right edge here at 1 inch. And I've got the 1 inch over here on the right side, okay? So again, here is the bottom of the card. Here is the score line. I'm twisting it 90 degrees and I'm putting it at 1 inch. Get your cutting blade out of there and score it at 1 inch all the way across the bottom. Give it a good score, okay? If you've got that, then the rest is, you're home free. No problem here. Now I'm gonna put my right edge, I'm sorry, this is the left edge, at a 1/2 inch. So 1/2 inch, and you are going to score just up to that 1 inch score line. Just up to the 1 inch score. Hopefully you can see that where that's coming in. Now we're gonna move this. I'm gonna open up the arm. I'm gonna move this and we're going to go to 3 3/4. Okay, at 3 3/4, we are going to score again, just up to that 1 inch score line. Slide it over to 4 3/4 and score it just up to the score line. So I'm kind of putting it at the score line and bringing it down. Then the last score we're going to do is going to be at 8 inches. We're going to score right there. So again, I'm just kind of taking that up and pulling it down a couple times. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 score lines across the bottom. There's that. Now, paper snips. I'm telling you, this is going to be, the bag is on top and the box is on the bottom. So we're creating the box right now. So we're just going to snip right along that score line to that score line, right? And I'm going to take just a tiny little wedge right out of there. Same deal. Go up to, and I'm taking that wedge out of the center section, which is the tab. That's that. Now let's do the same drill over here. Cut up to the score line and notch a little V out, just so that as we close the box up, it just kind of comes together. We take some of the bulk, some of the fullness out of that. If you're a seamstress, you know what that means. Okay, there's that. So that's it. We have constructed things. It's ready to go. What I want to do is I'm going to put some tear and tape on things here. I'm going to put tear and tape. I'm going to put it along the bottom of this one, just of this tab. And I'll show this up close in just a second here. And I'm going to put it in a few other places. And I have to think exactly where I want to put it just to make it right. I'm going to put it here. Okay, yeah, it's hanging over a little bit. We'll fix that in a second. I'm going to put it there. And I'm going to put some on these little tabs as well. All right, one more time. And I hope I have the adhesive in the right spot. It's been a couple weeks since I made this box. Okay, so there you have your adhesive. So I have it on the tabs, and I have one here, because that's going to actually end up being under this tab over here. Okay, you don't want any on one of them. Okay, so we'll just kind of burnish those. And for now, what we're going to do, we're going to take our white piece here. And the reason we need this white piece is because our bag is going to come around just like so. And we're using this side, the scored side, right? But now we need to bring these two together. And so to do that, this is what we're going to do right here, is add this right in there. So we're using this as a placket to kind of bring everything together. So I'm going to glue one side at a time. And I'm going to use the glue. The thing that's great about the glue, I know that the tear and tape is, that quick adhesive. The thing about using glue is it is a great holder. You can kind of skate things around to get it in place, right? But it also burrows down into the fibers of your cardstock. So it gives you just a little bit more strength. Now, I'm wondering if I need this piece down here. I don't remember. We may be cutting this little piece off. Where is my original? Let me see if it's in there. It's in there. It doesn't have a score line in it, though. We might be in trouble. So I think what we're going to do is, while we have this still open and not sealed shut, I'm going to open this up. And we are going to make a score line just on this white section right here that we added in. So I'm gonna put that right on my score line there. And I'm just gonna add another one. Let me get it into view here for you. Another score right there. This side didn't do very well. It's because it's thick. Okay, hopefully that will be it. So there's that. Now I want you to fold on all of these. Go ahead and fold inward on all of these. Let's get them trained nicely. Okay, you definitely want to do that before you assemble. Give them a good burnish. This will affect how things come together for you. And I'm glad I added that little score line right in there. Okay, fold all this out. And then bring this over like so, and we'll just add some more glue to this. All the way down. Okay, and now with it closed, close your card, and we'll just burnish that adhesive. The measurements on the white strip, Kayleen, are 1 inch wide by 5.5 inches long, and it is scored on the short end at 1/2 inch. So in other words, you're scoring it right up the middle, and now it's hidden inside there, but there it is. So 1 inch by 5.5. Okay, I think that's all burnished. We need it to be burnished nice and tight. Hit that lampshade again. You want it burnished because you don't want it to come apart on you as you go to put the box bag together. So as that is setting up, let's take one of the frames here. And so with one of the frames, we're actually going to cut this in half. And so this is just about 5 inches wide. So we want this edge right here at about the 2.5 inch mark. And we're just very carefully, and you don't want to go too hard because you can kind of make it go cattywampus, but I'm just cutting them in half. Okay, that's cut in half. That's ready. And then with one of the banners that are in the kit, I want you to cut out 4 of the flowers. And the reason we're cutting them out in the middle is because, if we add like the way it has you do in the kit, you can still use this banner, and we've just borrowed some paper from it. Or you can grab some Calypso Coral cardstock. But I have my 4 flowers already cut out, and I didn't stamp these, but you could if you wanted to. You totally could. Okay, now I'm going to take my handles here. I just gave it away. They're becoming handles, and I'm going to do just about maybe 1/2 inch of glue on each side. And I got a little too much on this side, so we're going to take some away with the tip of my glue nozzle thingy, the tip of the glue. And we're going to, and I'm just going to kind of use my my grid paper here to help me align things. So here is my handle. Where is my spout? Just kidding. Okay, now these little flowers here, these are going to glue on, and they are going to hide our mechanics here for the ends of these little handles. The cool thing about this is if you have the Countryside dies, you can cut more of these handles if you wanted to make more bags, or if you wanted to reinforce these little handles. They're purely decorative, folks. They give the illusion of a little shopping bag, but they're not that strong. Okay, flip it over. Let's do it again. A little bit of glue on our ends. Okay. Now for this one, just set it right on top of the other one, like so. That way you know they match from front to back. And then we'll do the same drill with our flowers and cover up the ends. And just like I would with other flowers, I'm making sure that these are never at the same orientation. There's that. And I'm going to flip it over because I'm pretty sure these are dry. We'll take our enamel dots and we'll do one there, one here, flip it over, one here. I think it's just kind of a nice little finishing touch. It's kind of like a rivet in a way, but it's also the center of the flower. Kind of cute. They would be cute stamped. I didn't even think to do that though. Okay, so there is our bag box coming right along. Now, what I want you to do, if you have the Countryside corners, is grab, these are the smaller pieces. This one here is the same as this tag here, okay? But we're gonna use this one. So this is the one that's next up size-wise. You're gonna take that one and I want you to cut yourself a white tag. And so that's gonna be our tag for the bag. And I'm gonna turn this over because this is actually my front. How do I know the front from the back? The back is the one that has the adhesive tape on the bottom on that flap, okay? So this right here is going to become our tag. We're gonna use some elements from the kit. It's gonna be a pretty fast tag here. The first thing I want to do is cut it off. I don't want it to have the angles on the bottom. I want to make it more of a true tag. So I'm just gonna cut off about a 1/2 inch, like that. That's trash, or you can use it on something if you want. But I mean, look how fast that is. A quick tag just by taking some off. And then let's use a little bit of, I think I want boho blue. Yeah, do I want boho blue? I definitely am gonna use one of these vases, and I'm going to use one of the Hello Friend die cuts. I think I'm actually gonna use balmy blue instead of boho. I'm gonna use balmy blue, and I'm gonna use the background stamp. Need to give it a quick clean because it was, I think we used it in navy blue last time. But I had to pick up my cleanup pad, was on the floor. So I'm just twisting, tapping, and we're going to stamp the bottom just a little bit. It doesn't need a lot, but I'm just adding a little bit of color and interest to the bottom of my tag. It's a simple tag here, folks. I'll do a couple dimensionals on the vase. It probably would handle just one, but we're going for it, right? And I want my vase, before I put my vase on, I'm actually going to punch a hole in my tag right in the center here. And I'm gonna move down just a little ways. So punch your hole right there. Okay, and we'll use the linen thread. We could use linen thread, or we could use the navy blue. You know what? Just to mix it up, I'm going to use some of the navy blue. We haven't used that in a project or two. So we'll feed this through and just give yourself some nice tails. And now that that's kind of through that, I'm going to take my vase. And my vase is going to kind of hide some of the mechanics there. It's going to be a little taller than, so my tag must be longer than my original. My tag's a little shorter because I have the vase popped up like this. A little higher, that's okay. I like it when things are a little bit different. And then we're gonna take Hello Friend right across the bottom here. And I'm gonna do that with dimensionals. And I think I have this little piece right here from the ones they gave us in the kit. So I'll just do that right across the middle. But maybe we could actually get it in the middle. Okay, so our tag is now ready. Hello, friend. And it's going to tie off. I'm going to put it over here, so use the ends of my twine here. Just one goes around, one goes just like so. And you could tie it in a bow, or I think I'm just going to tie it in a knot. And that way it can kind of, once you fill it, you know, you've got a little tissue popping out. Okay, let's get the ends fairly even. Anyway, you can kind of move the tag around just depending on once you have it filled where it's going to land. But I have it just kind of tied off like so. Okay, keeping it simple. Now let's assemble the bottom. So to do this, we're going to kind of pop, kind of give yourself a little pressure, and let's peel off some of these. Don't peel this one off. We're going to peel these that are on our short little tabs. Let's peel those away. Easier said than done. And if there are any ends that are kind of hanging over, just kind of roll them into itself. Yeah, where's my plaque remover? Here it is. I really like this tool for this. So this tool comes from the add-ons. Is that what it's not an add-on. What is it called this time? I don't remember what it's called. But it has the hobby blade and this piece. And then it also has the perforated, you roll it. So cool. Super, super cool. Let's get all these as well. That's the thing with making boxes. Always have lots of little fiddly parts, but they're fun to have at the end to fill and, you know. This would be a cute gift card holder. Okay, so now that we have these, we're going to push these in and we're going to push them all the way up so that they're laying flat against the box sides, okay? And we'll fix it in the end, not to worry. Now we can remove this one. Maybe. You know, it just kind of gets right under there. And so now, and my handles are kind of in the way to show you what's going on. Now I'm going to put the one that had the tear and tape, we're going to put that one in first. And then we're going to put this one. I'm going to do one more row of tear and tape on this side right there. And we're going to shut the bottom of the box. And after we shut the bottom of the box, we're going to go in and firm up the sides by pushing those tabs down inside to the bottom, which is right here. Okay, so here you have it. Okay, this is, you just tell it who's boss. You are, not the bag, right? And you're just gonna kind of come in here, get this going. Okay, kind of reach in like that. Now go inside of your bag And I'm going to use my bone folder, hopefully you guys can see, to kind of make that adhere. And then you're going to flip those tabs down. You're just going to fold it down. Did you see how I did that? I just kind of went in there, and I'll do it one more time. There's the tab. You can see the little wind light coming through. Let me turn it just a little bit. I'm going to turn it, flatten it out, and I'm just pushing it down with my bone folder. And now I can kind of go in there and burnish those. And now you have a box on the bottom and a bag on top. How cute is this? And this can hang wherever you'd like it to. You know, like I say, once you have it filled, it kind of will tell you where it needs to go design-wise. But there you have it. Cute little bag box. And this one I tied on with the linen thread. So either one. Cute. Hope you like it. I think it's kind of fun. I thought it was fun. I have one last thing to show you. And I didn't put the supplies for this card on the list because it was a bonus project. But I said that if I had time, I would go ahead and show you what I did with this. I did turn this into a card. Had to, because these little foxes are just too cute. So that's going to be a main thing in my card here. Oh man, you guys actually have 2 more cards. Okay, well, it's going to be a show and tell. Here comes this card. I forgot about my big fancy fold here. Maybe we'll save it. Maybe not. We'll see. Okay, so for this card, you are going to need a white card base. And that is just thick basic white. It's thick basic white, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Not too tricky there, right? I'm also going to be using one of these, so I'll just use this one here. But maybe I'm going to use one because I'm going to be trimming it down. So we're going to be trimming it down this way. That's going to go there. I'm going to trim that down to 4 1/4. 4 1/4. Okay. That. And then I also have a piece of vellum cardstock here. All right. My vellum cardstock was die cut. We haven't used this one yet. This size here, let's get the measurements on this one. But this die measures about 1 7/8, 1 7/8 across by 3 3/8. So that's the one you're looking for. It's kind of sandwiched right in the middle of everything. So we have just kind of dry fit. We have a layer there. Then we're going to add our foxes on top. And then we actually have some vellum coming in here as well. So let's just get these layers on, get ourselves prepped. That way we can kind of move some of the pieces aside. Okay, there's that one. Now, with this one, I'm going to first, before I put it on my card, I'm going to add twine to it. And I'm going to wrap my card. Let me just kind of take some of the curls out. I'm going to wrap my card and tie a bow. Well, maybe that's going to be a huge bow. I don't need quite so much. So Olive, I don't actually have paper pumpkin kits anymore. I'm not doing those. I do have a program that I can let you know what I'm doing. So I have videos that come out each month. And I haven't got this month's, they're done. I just haven't put them all out and emailed them just yet. And those are for those who subscribe with me. Okay, so we're tying this in a bow. Just like so. Okay, just a regular old bow, and I have it over here to the left side. Just prepping that, so that way I don't put my dimensionals where my bow is. That way I can kind of wiggle it side, up and down. And I didn't do a very good job at making these even, but that's okay. totally okay. And it's all of a sudden very loose. Okay, so now we'll put some dimensionals on the back of this. We'll do like 5. Like that. We'll peel this. Stick it on. And this is now going to pretty much center on the card. You know me, I like things a little bit more off center, but that's okay. With this being down here at the bottom, it kind of helps make it so things aren't so like perfectly symmetrical up and down. You know what I mean. It's a little bit more interesting when things are, you know, a little bit off. They don't have to always all be so centered. Okay, so there's that. And now for my piece of vellum, I'm going to do just a teeny little, like just little dots. Other stuff will hold it in place, and those are gonna hide. And I'm gonna slide this under my linen thread. And so this is actually off to, and it's kind of, it's a subtle little layer, but I have it off to the right. So as I was just talking about not liking things so perfectly centered, this helps to take it off a little bit and make it a little bit more interesting. Okay, so for this, I'm gonna use this vase here. We'll put a couple dimensionals on it. They're not glue dots, they are dimensionals. And then I had some scraps on my desk from our Countryside Corners class that was in the Backstage Pass last month. It was our it was our Use It Up class last month. I used a lot of pieces from the Sentimental Park kit. That Sentimental Park and Countryside Corners sure blend so nicely. They're super, super pretty. Olive, I'm going to add you to my mailing list. So this is one of those scraps that was on my desk along with one of these. And so this actually is Balmy Blue, and it's this little die right here in the Countryside Corners. And so that's going to come into play right about here. We're going to stamp this tiny little banner with the word friend, and I will stamp it in Night of Navy, our color for this kit. Okay, just gently tap. You don't have to over add. And I'm going to stamp right in the center, just gently touching. Ooh, this is a case. I just barely touched it, you guys, but this is what I'm talking about. It's like I over inked it. It got, you know, but I'm gonna roll with it for now since time is running out. And I'm gonna take this piece here and we're gonna color this with Stampin' Blends. I'm just gonna do some real fast coloring here. I'm just gonna add some swooshes of, this is light Balmy Blue. And I don't care if I leave some white showing. And I'm going to intentionally leave some white in these berries. It's just kind of like faux highlights. Okay, just swirl that in there quick. And then I'll do the same thing with the blue, only I'm not going to do as much. Ooh, you can tell that tip is been used quite a bit for splattering. So now I'm just using the nib end and I'm just basically hitting these details right in here. Okay. And I just kind of highlighted some places here and there. I didn't do like real fancy blending. We'll add Wink of Stella because we can. And I like Wink of Stella a lot. Could you tell? Okay, so just got that all on the flowers, and boy, is that pretty. And so this we're going to add with dimensionals. I'll just put a couple dimensionals, one there and one right here. And we'll tuck this in the vase. I mean, look at this. It's like instant arrangement, already done. So I kind of have it swooping. I need to move it over just a skosh. It's kind of swooping from the top right down to the left. And I have some white flowers here. Absolutely, it replaced my Dazzling Diamonds, which long live Dazzling Diamonds. I love Dazzling Diamonds glitter. I know glitter freaks some people out. Not me. I love it. I like it a lot. That was for Julie. Okay, so I had too much glue, so I just rolled some over to this one here. I'm just adding a leaf there. And we'll do another leaf kind of right in here. Kind of tuck that up in. And I'm going to do one more on that side right there, on the right side. Seriously, Sentimental Park is perfect with this Countryside Corners collection. Okay, so I'm going to move that one in a little further. This one kind of wiggled back out. I don't want them sitting at the same height, basically is what I'm trying to get at. Or same height or angle. Tuck that one in a little further too. Those need a little wink. I noticed that I have that on the original over here next to me. And then we'll put the word friend on with one of our short dimensionals here. And I'm just going to kind of put this right over the knot of our thread. I'm going to give this just a little bit of a turn so that I get a little bit of a high-low action. Come on. Okay, now it's kind of where I want it. Not entirely, but it's good enough for now. Oh, let's put it on the right direction. So now this is going to just kind of lap right over and sit there. Oh, I really need to change that. See how blurry that is? I'll bring in another one here and you'll see that it looks much better when you just barely stamp it. Okay, so here's my original right here. So look at the difference. What to do, what not to do. Don't over ink, don't over press. She doesn't even follow her own rules. I promise I will fix it. Okay, I'm going to add an enamel dot there. And I'll put another one right over in here just to finish things off for this card. And then another one like we'll put it up here. Okay, so there you have bonus card, which I did in the wrong order. Yes, you're right. Wink of Stella is always at the party. I did get what I got Dazzling Diamond glitter out the other day, Kayleen. I'm like, oh yeah. Okay, so I have one more card. I think what I will do is show it to you, and then maybe I'll make a video of it, how to make it. But this is where I was featuring because Kathleen asked, or somebody asked earlier, if the embossing folder matched the cards. So here's the embossing folder, and I used the embossing folder on my card here. This is the envelope, okay? And then this opens up. It's kind of a nice, cool card. So I will, I'll actually make a little video how to do this one, and I'll upload that to YouTube, and so you can see it there, and then I'll give you a link. But it's really a fun, easy, cool little card that I think you can figure out. But okay, let's see if this matches that card base. Let me find one here. Pull out my leftovers. Let's see. Do I have one of those card bases left over? Yes. Okay. Have a bunch of them. Well, here's part of the card base. So this does, it's not going to line up with the actual paper unless you kind of move things around, but it's never going to be in exactly the right spot. And I'll tell you why, because there's like 4 flowers here, and there's the flowers kind of go, and there's like 5 on this one. So it's going to be tricky to line up. but the design does match and the DSP does match this. So similar, but not going to be able to go in and line all this up perfectly on your card front on these. So, but there it is, textural there. So there you have it, folks. We're going to make a video on this. Okay, but we did do our bonus card and we have our window. Let's see what else we have here. We also did some simple alternatives. This one was a case of that one. And then of course we did our fun bag boxes here. And our tags are kind of all crazy right now, but the bag and box 3D project. So there you have it. That is our Upstyle Your Paper Pumpkin for June, obviously in July. You are so welcome, Kathleen. Look forward to that video. Not quite sure when I'll do it, maybe later today here. But join me next week. We're gonna use it up and we're going to use the Just My Type stamp set for that class. It's going to be fun. If you need more information about how to get into the Backstage Pass, shoot me a comment here or just kind of send me an IM. Olive, I'll get you hooked up. Anyhow, for those who have hung out with me all day today, have an awesome day stamping. Get something done, something creative made, and I will take pictures of all this and load it up, and you'll be able to see those. And I will catch you all next week in the Backstage Pass. Thanks. Bye-bye.